And you guys have done factoring, so this should be easy peasy. If you will notice at the top of the notes there, it says you need your graphing calculator tomorrow. I'm going to teach you new graphing tomorrow. So make sure you have it with you. It's going to feel like a lot of steps tomorrow, but once you get the hang of it, it's the same thing over and over and over again, just like the linear regression, just like the quadratic regression. It's not hard. You'll get it just fine. But if you don't have your calculator with you, Friday is not going to be great. So make sure you have your calculator with you on Friday. That would be super helpful. Okay. Are you ready? I am. I already pushed record. Thank you for reminding me. You're the best. So like I said, we're going to focus in on factoring for a little bit longer. I'm going to give you 5 different methods for solving a quadratic in the next 5 lessons that we do. So today we're solving a quadratic by factoring. So far it was just like factor this quadratic. We didn't solve anything. We didn't say x equals fill in the blank, right? We just came up with the binomials or whatever the factored form looked like. Today we're going to get to that point. We're going to factor it, but then we're going to take it a step further and we're going to set it equal to 0 so that we can solve it. Let me explain to you why we set it equal to 0. So if you look at this first setup here, oh, my ear clicked on. Hallelujah. Okay, that's exciting. The zero product property, I'm sorry, I get excited about silly things, says this: if you take 2 numbers and you multiply them together and they equal 0, then it has to be that either the 1, the A, equals 0, or the B is equal to 0, right? So if I'm multiplying 2 things together and it equals 0, one of those 2 things must equal 0. Okay, so that's essentially what we're going to do today with our factoring stuff, is we're going to say something equals 0, and we're going to solve. One thing to note, when a function is equal to 0, we call that a 0 of the function. But a 0 of the function, essentially what that is it's an x-intercept. Okay, so we've talked a lot about y-intercepts, right? I need you to change your brain a little bit. We're going to focus more on x-intercepts now, so that's going to hit the horizontal line. So when we want to find the zeros of the function, we set it equal to 0, and we will get this function here, and our zeros will be our 2 x-intercepts. Okay, so that's what we're going to be solving for today. Today we're going to do it by factoring. Tomorrow we're going to do it by graphing. So tomorrow you're going to see this and you're going to be finding those 2 points. Not tomorrow, Friday, the next time I see you. You know what I mean. Okay, so here's what we're doing. Solving by factoring. This first one, if we're going to factor this, what do? How do you factor, forget the 0 right now. How do you factor x squared minus 5x plus 6? Star method, right? Or whatever method you use. So up top is a 6. On the bottom is a -5, and my a term is 1. What can I multiply to get 6 that I can add to get -5? -3 and -2, okay? And 6 and 5 happens a lot, and I always get people that say 6 and 1 versus 2 and 3 because they're so very similar. So just be careful when you see 6s and 5s together because it's really easy to mix these ones up. Okay, so if we factor this, it would be x minus 3 times x minus 2, right? That's this piece of it, but we're setting that equal to 0. So now do you see where a times b equals 0? This is our a, this is our b, equals 0. That means one of those things has to equal 0. So all you do is you say, okay, well, if x minus 3 equals 0, then x would be what? 3, right? If you add 3 to both sides, x would be 3. If x minus 2 is the thing that has to equal 0, then x is what? 2. So your answer is x equals 3 or x equals 2, right? Those are the two things we come up with. Now notice, if there's nothing out in front of your x there, it's always just the opposite of what you have here, okay? So x equals 3, x equals 2, you're done. You set it equal to 0, and you're done. Okay, go to B. Now this one's a little bit different. Do you notice the difference on this one? It's got that negative 12 at the end. In order to solve a quadratic, we're trying to find a 0, we need to set it equal to 0. So how do I make this equal 0? Add 12. We're going to move the 12. So it's going to be x squared minus 7x plus 12 equals 0. Okay, so make sure that's always your first step, that you're checking, is it set equal to 0? If it is, great. Then you can do your factoring. If it's not, make it equal 0 first and then factor. Okay, so this one, we're going to do star method here. Notice those are not perfect squares. It's not difference of squares, so you do the star. Up top, you have a 12. On bottom, you have a negative 7, and your A term is 1. What can you multiply to get 12 that you can add to get negative 7? Negative 3 and negative 4. So my factored form is x minus 3, x minus 4, and don't forget we're setting it equal to 0. Okay, so again, here's my A and my B. If we're looking at that 0 product property, what will my x values be? 3 and 4. You have to say x minus 3 equals 0 and x minus 4 equals 0. So add 3 and we get x equals 3. Add 4 and we get x equals 4. Questions on that so far? Yeah, Chris.
So when we give our final answer, like on a quiz or test, we're going to have to write equal to 0?
You don't write equal to 0. You'll just write these two values, x equals 3, x equals 4. Because you need to set it equal to 0 first, and then you can factor it. And then your answers will be those two values to make one of them equal 0, right? Okay, letter C. What do you have to do first? Subtract 15. Yeah, set it equal to 0. So 2x squared plus 7x minus 15 equals 0. Now what? Do your star. Those are not perfect squares, right? It's not a perfect square trinomial. It's not a difference of squares. So it's got to be star method or whatever method you use. So what goes on top? You good? It won't open. Not 30. Negative 30. Yeah, make sure you're doing it from the new one, not the original one. So 2 times the negative 15 is negative 30. On bottom, you've got 7. And now your A term is 2. Okay, so what can you multiply to get a negative 30 that you can add to get 7? 10 and negative 3. All right, so this one is fine. This one you have to reduce. Some of you forgot to reduce on that last quiz that we did like this, so make sure you're reducing. 1 over 5 would be this one. So it's going to be x plus 5 and 2x minus 3 equals 0, okay? So the first one is easy to see. If x plus 5 has to equal 0, you're just taking 5 away, and x is going to be a negative 5. The second one just has 2 steps to it, so make sure you're doing both steps. If 2x minus 3 is going to equal 0, you need to add 3, so 2x will equal 3, and then you need to divide by 2. I don't care if you leave it as 3 halves. I think that's a little easier, or if you want to turn it into 1.5, 1.5 is fine also. Yeah, that's up to you. I don't mind a decimal as long as it's not a rounded decimal. Keep the exact answer. Questions on that? Okay, now we change it up a bit. Now we have x squared minus 25 equals 0. How do you do x squared minus 25 equals 0? Those are both perfect squares, right? It's a difference of squares. And how do you write a difference of squares? One's plus, one's minus. These ones are real nice because you only have to write one answer, essentially. It's two answers, but it'll look like one. So take the square root here, we get x's. Take the square root here, we get 5s. If we were to set those both equal to 0, what are your answers? 5 and negative 5. Okay, here's how you write that. X equals a positive and negative 5. You can just write it as one thing. Now, I don't care if you want to write it as x equals negative 5 and x equals 5. I have no problem with that, but this is just simpler. So you can do either. You don't need to do all. Just plus and minus 5 or x equals negative 5, x equals 5 is fine. Questions? Okay, back up to the top here. Letter E. What do you do with this one? We're going to square root them. That's a difference of squares, right? This is a perfect square and this is a perfect square. So it's going to be two binomials, one that's going to be plus, one that's going to be minus. What goes inside? Square root here, you get 3x. Square root here, you get 7. So 3x plus 7 and 3x minus 7. And it's got to equal 0. So if I set 3x plus 7 equal to 0, you take away the 7, and then you divide by 3. This one just leave as that fraction. X equals a negative 7/3. Okay, but here's the thing. If you notice, these were the same, right? So one's going to be positive. We add 7 and divide by 3. The other one's negative. We subtract 7 and divide by 3. So you could right now just say x equals plus or minus 7/3. If you don't give me both, if you just tell me x equals 7/3, you're missing half the problem, right? That's one of the two answers. That's one half of the problem that's not there. So you do lose a lot of points if you only give me one of the two answers. So just make sure you're always getting two answers where two answers are needed. Now, sometimes two answers are not needed. Let me show you how. What do you notice about this one? It's a perfect square trinomial. This is a perfect square, and this is a perfect square. We need to check it at the end just to make sure. But if we square root this, we get x. If we square root this, we get 10. This symbol goes here, so it's x plus 10 squared. So just check it real quick just to make sure we're okay. 2 times x times 10. This should equal that b term, okay, that bx term, which it does. So we know we're good there, okay? So if this is my factored form, what's my answer? What could x be if it has to equal 0? Just negative 10, right? Essentially, we're looking at this, x plus 10 times x plus 10 equals 0. The only number option there for either one of those right now is x equals a negative 10. So you can set them both equal to 0 and solve them both, but you'll get negative 10 for both. You don't need to write that twice. It's the same thing, right? So in a situation like this, where it's a perfect square trinomial like that, you will just get one answer. In this case, that answer is negative 10. Good on that? Okay. Letter G. Last one, and then we're done. What do we do here? It's equal to 0 already, so we don't need to move anything. Can you factor anything out of this? A what? You can factor an x out. So if I factor an x out, what am I left with? 3x minus 1 equals 0. Okay, now here's the thing. The product property, the zero product property, says either of the two things could be 0. So what's one of my answers going to be? X equals what? Not 1. If it's A times B, that has to equal 0. If A has to be 0, X is what? 0, right? So if there's an X out in front, if you factor an X out or a 2X out or a 9X out or a negative 3X out, X is 0, right? So this is going to be X equals 0 for this guy right here. And then what's the other one? If 3x minus 1 has to equal 0, you would add 1. So 3x equals 1. And then divide by 3. So x would have to be 1/3. Okay, so the solutions to that problem are x equals 0 or x equals 1/3. Any questions on that?